Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to our book club, The Social Chapter. It is now time to discuss our latest read, Becoming by Michelle Obama. This was released... It was released just over a month ago, but it has already claimed the title of best-selling book of the entire year. So, Jess, as Social Chapter president, give us a synopsis.
You bet. Before Michelle Obama, she was Michelle Robinson. And in this book, we get a glimpse of her life on Chicago's South Side and the road that brought her to the doors of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. These pages give us a window into Michelle Obama's work life, her home life, and don't worry, she does not hold back on her romance with Barack. The former First Lady shares private thoughts on her family's mark on American history and reflects upon, for better or for worse, what the country has been becoming.
Ooh, all right. So it would not be a book club here without some wine. This time around, we sipped on Jackson Triggs Proprietor's Selection Cabernet Sauvignon. This has rich notes of black currant, crisp cassis, big fans, hints of vanilla and spice. And Jess, you also brought some food that pairs really, really well with this wine. So tell us about the spread.
I did. I thought about bringing pizza because early on in the book, Michelle describes that her family always celebrated a big sort of moment with pizza. But then again, one of Michelle Obama's signature accomplishments was changing legislation so that kids had healthier school lunches with her Let's Move program. And there was also the incredible White House garden that they planted. That was her initiative. So I thought Michelle would be very proud if I made a healthy decision. So I brought some crudité, some nuts, some fruits, some cheeses, and I think all of it will pair very nicely with this Cab sort of vanilla and spiciness.
Ooh, okay, ladies, dig in, dig in. So, before we reveal... Hold on.
Yeah.
That's it. Now I can continue. Before we reveal how we feel about this memoir, I wanted to read a review from one of our viewers, Mary. So Mary wrote to us on Facebook, and she gave this book a 6 out of 5. And she writes, she writes that reading it made me feel like she was personally speaking with me in my own living room, which is, I think, very, very accurate. Okay, so a rave review from Mary, but we're gonna see if we each agree with this. We each gave this book a rating out of 5. We will then spend the next 20 seconds defending our rating, okay? Here we go. I will go first. I gave this book a 5 out of 5. So I listened to this on audiobook as read by Michelle Obama, and this is the memoir we were hoping for. She is candid, recalling her innermost fears, anxieties, and doubts about her husband's career in politics from the earliest days to his last days in the White House. She was always asking the question, at what cost were his aspirations going to bring to their personal lives? In the end, it left me missing her first family for a return to decency, professionalism, and sacrifice, all in the name of love of country.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I also gave this book a 5 out of 5, and here's why. What makes a great memoir? It is getting a window into the life of someone fascinating. And Michelle is not only fascinating, but also inspiring and surprisingly relatable. I loved hearing about her modest upbringing, her struggles with career, marriage, and motherhood, and then her adjustment to public life. The only thing that was hard was remembering this wonderful family and then thinking about the juxtaposition about what the family who is in the White House look like now.
Yes, yes, it's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5, and here's why. Because Michelle Obama describes herself as an ordinary person who found herself on an extraordinary journey. And her memoir invites us along for the ride with its inviting and conversational tone that's pocketed with deeply moving and profound passages. The only thing that didn't thrill me was the very linear, chronological structure. But that's just a subjective style note. Objectively speaking, Michelle Obama isn't a 4.5, she's a 10. Woo!
I gave this book a 5 out of 5, and here's why. Michelle Obama isn't just Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is a writer. This book is so literary. And dare I say, she does this thing, writing, better than Barack Obama, whose writing can sometimes be a little bit too esoteric. It's not accessible. She has written a book that is accessible and clear and amazing.
Woo! Woo! So clearly, we all loved this book, but were there any particular stories that stood out to you, or maybe even details that you read and were quite surprised by?
I loved just I couldn't help as she was falling in love with Barack, falling in love with him at the same time. But what was fascinating, and I didn't know that when they first met and he was this sort of young hotshot lawyer and he came in, that she didn't really find him that attractive. She actually kind of found him a little bit cocky, I think, and she was trying to set him up with other friends. She didn't like the fact that he smoked, but slowly and surely they just kind of fell in love. They became friends first and then fell in love, and it was just such a wonderful journey.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I loved all of the details about how life changed as soon as they got to the White House, or even before that. Do you remember November 2008 when Barack makes the acceptance speech with his family on the stage? Driving there, the kids in the back car were being like, where are all the cars? There are no cars on the roads. And they're like, wow, there are no cars on the roads because now we are riding with the soon-to-be president of the United States, and life will never be the same. It was just shocking. And then life itself in the White House. Michelle's mom came to live with them. She insisted on doing her own laundry. Michelle made the girls make their own beds. Just all of those little details I loved.
What did you think about the way that the political sort of climate was addressed, like today's political climate?
Well, a couple things struck me was discussing how during the Trump presidential campaign, when the birther issue came up, questioning where Barack was born and how Michelle was taking that being in the White House, she said, that was putting my family's safety at risk. And so drawing that direct line between the rhetoric on the campaign trail by some guy and how that directly impacted her safety with her family. And secondly, the juxtaposition of the transition. When George H.W. Bush transitioned the White House to Barack and all of the protocol and the norms, and how it was really, really different when Michelle and Barack had to hand it over to the Trumps. I find that juxtaposition, I mean, you couldn't help but judge the differences.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, on the political level, what this book actually does is closes the door on any speculation that she will be a politician. She's very clear about it not being a life for her.
Yep.
So I feel like we need to stop hoping for it and stop asking her. She doesn't want to run, ever.
She says so in the book.
Yes.
Many times.
She's seen it.
She says it, and then she also says why. Like, she's not suited to it because it's not good enough for her, that life.
Well, but hopefully somebody's going to be reading it. Maybe it's somebody much younger who's coming up the ranks and be inspired by the story, that you still can be in politics and have good intentions. You still can be in politics and try to bridge worlds. And I feel like that she's at least laying the foundation. It won't be her, but maybe it's going to be one of her kids. I don't know.
I love those rumors. Start it up, Cynthia. Well, it is now time to reveal our next social chapter selection. Jess Allen, take it away.
Can I have a drum roll, please? Our next social chapter selection is If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. This 1974 novel was recently adapted as a movie starring Toronto's own Stephan James and breakout star Kiki Layne. It's directed and written, of course, by Barry Jenkins, who is behind the epic Moonlight. This film is already regarded as a shoo-in for Oscar nomination, so we thought it'd be the perfect time to revisit this modern classic by an incredible author.
Ooh, that is very, very exciting. We hope that you do read along with us. We'll be talking about it on the show the week of January 28th. And this book is going to need some wine, maybe 2 glasses of wine. That's why we will be sipping on Jackson Triggs Sauvignon Blanc. Now, everyone in our studio audience, why don't you get reading with us? You are getting your own copy of If Beale Street Could Talk. And when you're reading and sharing, use the hashtag #TheSocialChapter. Happy reading, everybody. We'll be right back after this.